I did a drawing of the Grace, and I took a number of photographs. So from that, I'm going to go about depicting those aspects of it that I think really capture it. And that, of course, is the Grace with the cornerstone of not only the community, but the whole, in many ways, our healthcare system. And it's very near and dear to a lot of people. I've been chosen to build this award to honor Pearl McGonigal, and I think really all the work she's done over the eons. But specifically Grace Hospital, which has been her dream, her baby, her involvement for the entire time it's been there. I'm going to try and express all those qualities in that award. I've known Pearl McGonigal really all my life. As a kid, when they put in Nightingale Street in St. James, Pearl McGonigal and her family, including her daughter Kim, who I was in school with, moved there, and I was the first paper boy on Nightingale. So it goes that far back.
The first woman to be deputy mayor, the first woman to be appointed lieutenant governor in the province, the number of leadership positions that she has taken on for such a myriad of different organizations.
Pearl is dynamic. Pearl is very astute. She has an incredible, very uncanny ability to read people and get to the point. When the Winnipeg Regional Health Authority assumed ownership of the hospital, the Salvation Army typically didn't allow the name Grace Hospital to stay. When they devolved, that name went to the Salvation Army. It didn't stay with the hospital. And Pearl, with her very close relationship with the territorial commander of the Salvation Army, was able to invite him to come to Winnipeg and see the Grace Hospital, and was able to convince him to allow the Grace Hospital to remain the Grace Hospital.
So I met Pearl about 20 years ago, and it was at a time when I was involved with the Winnipeg Chamber of Commerce, and Pearl was the Manitoba chair of the Canadian Forces Liaison Council. I'm not sure if people really understand the connection Pearl has to the military and the vital role that she has played over the years. She was also the honorary colonel of 402 City of Winnipeg Squadron and 735 Command Regiment. But it was in her capacity as chair of the Canadian Forces Liaison Council where she organized an executrek out to Peterson Air Force Base in Colorado Springs. And part of that trip included a visit to Cheyenne Mountain. And at Cheyenne Mountain, we had a briefing from a four-star general. So it was General Ralph Eberhardt. This man commands your attention when he walks in the room, and it was a very, very impressive briefing. And I recall after that, Pearl approached me and said, we really got to bring this guy up to Winnipeg. And my first thought was, how are we going to make that happen? This is a four-star general. This is the commander of NORAD. This is the commander of NORAD who was in that role during the attacks of 9/11. How are we going to bring him up to Winnipeg? But that was my first lesson of Pearl, where I learned that when she sets her mind to something, she makes it happen. There is no plan B.
Well, I got to know Pearl when I first moved into the St. James area. Believe it or not, she was my bank teller at the Bank of Montreal. And I was always in a hurry. I was young. In those days, when you did your banking, I had a service station, and I would come with a bundle of cash, and she would count it twice to make sure I was correct. And I used to get very annoyed with her. And that was my first encounter with her.
Women power, she invented the word, She was there, she was the first at most early positions as a woman. Pearl was there. And of course, the most famous of all was the Lieutenant Governor of Manitoba in the 80s. We couldn't be more proud of that she would invite us to the governor's house. I mean, for us immigrants like that, it was such a great thrill. And Pearl was so graceful. I can't remember another person who was as good at her job as Pearl McGonigal was. She held that job with such grace, and she was so articulate and such a good representative for the Queen.
I think she was probably one of the very first women to be involved in City of Winnipeg politics. She was very effective on City Council. She fought for and was victorious in many of the causes that she championed, and I think that her ability to see those goals, see those needs, and push forward to get them was a tremendous attribute that she had.
She's always found time to, support her family and her friends, and she was always there with the baking and the soup and the bread and, the bake sales, and she found time for everything. I think that's a remarkable legacy, to have such an impressive career, but to still not lose sight of the things that are most important to you, which for Pearl, I think, has been her love of family and her love and devotion to all of her friends.
Growing up, there was always a fridge and a freezer full of food. It still is one of my mom's ways of relaxing in life. All of the family and friends enjoyed her creativity with it too. Mom is the type of person that if I'm going to make one thing, I'm going to make 50 things, because 40 of them I'm going to give to friends or take to a hospital. My favorite part as a little one was when I got called in to help with the dishes, and I was able to do some taste testing, and that was fun.
If she wants something, she's going to dig till she gets it, and she's done a heck of a job, especially for fundraising. She's done excellent for the Grace. This particular site is probably one of the best in North America now. It's great, and we get a lot of comments on it, and I was very happy to be a part of it.
Her leadership and passion that she has for the Grace, and how she was able to navigate through a fair amount of red tape in order to get things done, including the Access Center, the MRI suite, the new emergency department. All of those has Pearl's stamp all over it. And I think she leaves quite a legacy for all of us in this city and province to really benefit from.
It is her hospital. Yeah, she believes it's her hospital. And I think that's, you can't put any more passion in it. That's her. That's Pearl, right? That's Pearl.